Guys, welcome to Red Balloon, and this video is about Thanos. And guess what? He's an idiot. That's right, Thanos is a moron. And I want to just go through why I think that. First of all, he has this idea, right? And we're specifically talking about the MCU and the movies, that by snapping his fingers and removing half of the universe's sentient life at random is somehow going to allow the rest of the universe to prosper, right? So let's just leave that as the kind of grounding for all of the decisions that he makes. Okay. Using simply Earth as one example, there are a multitude of reasons as to why this is just dumb. Like beyond dumb. Like the writers are thinking, you know what? It's a bunch of 6 and 7 year olds watching this. They won't know any better. Not realizing that actually over 10 years, those 13, 14, and 15-year-olds are now 23, 24, and 25-year-olds watching this, right? As the MCU grew for like a 10, 15-year period. Thanos snaps away half of... Now, by the way, when he snaps away half of sentient life, I feel like it wasn't just humans and other beings, and we're going to talk about Earth, that it was like birds and fish and all kinds of animals, anything that was living, right? Because when Ant-Man goes to the window in Endgame and the Hulk does the snap to bring everybody back, the reason he thinks it worked is because he starts to see birds fluttering around, right? And that kind of gives us the impression, okay, it wasn't just humans that disappeared, it was actually all kind of sentient life, or all kind of life that was dusted. So, in order for Earth to prosper, not only did he dust away half of the human population, he dusted away our food. He dusted away our fish, our meat, our chicken. How can you expect half the world to prosper when you've dusted away half of what they consume, right? Some of their resources, which essentially is just moronic. Not only that, but even if that wasn't the case, when you removed half the human population, he brought it from around 9 billion to 4.5 billion, right? Do you know when the human race was 4.5 billion? In the early 80s, when I was born. So what did he actually achieve? He brought the human race essentially back to 1985, 1980, 1982, right? As far as the population is concerned. So he gave us 40 years. Like in astronomical terms, or in terms of scale of the universe itself and the length of time the universe has existed, 13 or so billion years. What the fuck is 40 years? Who gives a shit about 40 years? Like, dusting took place 40 years later, basically, the human race will be back to 9 billion. And according to Thanos, that's over resource. That's overpopulated for the resources. So it was a stopgap at best, and a stopgap that only helped Earth with resources for about 40 years. Again, in cosmic terms, that's like the blink of an eye. It's nothing. It's not even a blink of an eye. It's like 100 millionth the blink of an eye. Like, it actually makes zero sense to do that, right? So even if his logic wasn't completely flawed, all it did was create a stopgap. Why not just double the universe's resources, right? And people are like, well, that's also only a stopgap. Well, first of all, not every planet in the universe was over consuming their resources. Some of them were optimal in regards to what they were doing. Okay? But even if you say doubling it is also only a stopgap, it's right. I mean, it's all only a stopgap. What if we quadruple it? What if we make the resources in the universe 100 times what they were, 1,000,000 times what they were? Again, it's only a stopgap, but at least it's a much longer stopgap. What if he creates the new reality where resources actually replenish themselves quicker and infinitely, and therefore no planet would ever be able to consume enough resources that it ends up dying or becoming in a hideous place? That would be doable. Just create infinite resources, right? That renew themselves infinitely and quickly. Couldn't just done that, no? Instead, he decides, you know what, I'll just set Earth back to 1980, and that will achieve everything I'm trying to do. You know, that's worth killing 4.5 billion people on the planet just so they can go back to 1980 as far as the population is concerned. Absolutely moronic. And let's also consider this. Not every planet in the universe at any one time is in the same state of its evolutionary period, right? So if he had done this snap, I don't know, a million years ago instead of now. I mean, think about it. Thor is like 7,000 years old, right? I mean, Earth, if you think about 7,000 years ago when Thor was born, right? Very, very underpopulated. If you think about Earth 100,000 years ago, maybe even a million years ago, there's probably barely any humans on the planet at all, right? We're probably only starting to evolve from bloody Lucy, Lucy wasn't a monkey, but she was, however, a monkey-type species from which humans descended, as well as apes. So, if he had have done the snap when there was only 1,000 humans, 100,000 humans, that could have resulted in the extinction of mankind. How does that benefit mankind? If you do your snap when the planet is actually underpopulated, and at the point where they need to build more people in order to sustain life at all, and all of a sudden you kill off half of them there and then, there's a chance you're actually going to make them become extinct. How does that help? How does that help them prosper, as he would put it? It doesn't. It's absolutely stupid. I can't talk enough about how moronic this plan is. So let's say, for argument's sake, he did kill half of all life, not just human life and sentient life, but also animal life. He's killing half of their food supply, as well as half of the people. Now, all of the people on Earth aren't equally professioned, right? There are some out there who work in telecommunications. They work as firemen. They work as scientists, right? They work as farmers, right? Killing half the population at random is also stupid, because at random means God knows who's going to perish. And all of a sudden you could be left with a bunch of dum-dums walking around saying, I don't know how the milk carton is no longer in the supermarket. I don't know who normally puts it there, but it's gone. And there's no farmers there to create things. There's not enough farmers to actually help with the 4.5 billion people still left, right? And we're not even talking about the stupidity of the snap where people just vanish there and then as shown in the Black Widow solo movie, that they reappeared where they had flashed. First of all, even if you forget the fact that Earth moves throughout the cosmos, if you reappear where you snapped, then some people would reappear where there's no longer a ship, and they'd be in the water. Or some people were out swimming in the water, and they'll reappear in that water, but the ship that they were on is no longer there, because that sailed away 5 years ago. People that were on planes, maybe if they reappear back on the plane, even though the plane is moving. So maybe they appear on the plane on someone's lap. How does that work? Because if somebody was sitting in this chair and then they got dusted and now they reappear, did they reappear on my lap? No. They reappear inside me. They'd be in my body, my legs. We both just die. So how does that work? If you were on a plane when you perished or dusted, when you come back, if someone's sitting on your seat, you're gonna come back inside them physically. You'll both die. That means the pilot of that plane is gonna die and he's gonna crash the plane. Or the pilot of the plane was dusted. Everybody on that plane died, even though they weren't dusted. Now the pilot comes back, but there's no plane to come back to. Where does he show up? Right? So the logic behind it in general, from a writer's point of view, is stupid. But the motivation of supposedly an intelligent being who says to Tony Stark, you're not the only one cursed with knowledge, yet he's so dumb, he thinks putting the universe back by maybe 40 years is actually going to achieve anything. Just stick with the motivation of the comics. He's trying to impress Lady Death by killing half the universe. That is fine. Stop trying to give him rightful or justifiable motivations that maybe make him seem like he's more complex. All it did was show anyone who can think that he's a moron. Again, there are my thoughts on Thanos. I'd love to know what you think. There are many reasons why what he did was poor. But the fact that he only sets Earth back by like 40 years, to me, is insane. I was still alive back then. I mean, on a cosmic scale, That's absolute insanity. To killing half the planet's population just to set it back 40 years is just mind-numbingly stupid. So Thanos, you're an idiot. MCU writers, do better. You better do much better with Doctor Doom in the coming films, because I swear to God, I need to see far more intelligent writing and motivation. Guys, this was one of the first live videos of 2026. We're going to be doing a lot more in regards to live videos, chats around the DCU, the MCU, comic book films, films in general, movies in general, because we love movies. I love talking about movies. I love complaining about movies. And I want to enjoy doing that, so I'm going to make more and more films. I'm hopefully going to have one almost daily, Monday to Friday. Very short, 5 to 10 minutes, but hopefully daily for you guys. And also, Little Bastards cartoon is coming back with a vengeance for 2026. We're going to hopefully get a lot more videos out there with some side cartoons that live in the world of Little Bastards, right? There'll be a Super Cafe knockoff called I think it's called the Meta Bar or the Justice Pub. I'm not sure, but this will live in the world of Little Bastards. We will have our America WTF news with Kent Adams and Brockman, and they will be reporting also from the world of Little Bastards. And then, of course, we will have episodes of the Little Bastards that will no longer be 6 or 7 or 8 minutes. They will be 1 to 2 minute episodes. They're basically going to be member berries. Josh and Leo are going to be sitting as adults remembering their childhood. Member? I member. And they will then go back and show little cartoons of our actual childhood and some of the shit we got up to, but in very short, quick episodes, so that we can actually get you more episodes to watch and hopefully laugh at. Thanks for joining me. Really look forward to the next video, and I look forward to putting more and more content out there in 2026 for you guys. Sorry about the lull that we've had over the last kind of couple of months since the new year began, but I just wanted to try and get things in order for it. Anyway, enjoy the weekend. It's Paddy's weekend this weekend, and if you didn't realise from my voice, I am Irish, so I'm hoping to have a really good weekend. I hope you do too, no matter what country you're in, and I will talk to you guys very soon.